Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back with another live show as usual. We will be talking about the latest on Gyokeres. We have updates from David Ornstein, from Fabrizio Romano, from Hand of Arsenal. It's now been confirmed how much the add-ons are going to be paid for Gyokeres, how we're going to divide it. That has been confirmed. The medical has been confirmed as well, and then the latest on Xavi Simons and also Reiss Nelson. So let's get started right away. And it's on this guy, Viktor Gyokeres. So this is what David Ornstein had to report today. He said Arsenal reached total agreement with Sporting Lisbon to sign Viktor Gyokeres. Sporting grant 27-year-old striker permission to travel. Medical scheduled for Saturday. Sweden international expected to wear the iconic number 14 shirt as new Arsenal front man. So the permission has been given. Yesterday we were told by the likes of Fabrizio that the permission had been granted, but obviously there's other stuff that have to go on before the permission is actually granted, and we had to wait another day again. So that basically confirms that Gyokeres is not going to be part of that Newcastle game. He's going to make his debut against Tottenham because the first part of the medical will be today, and then the second part of the medical will be tomorrow. So he won't travel on time to Singapore. Actually, he will travel tomorrow and then arrive in Singapore. I don't know if he's going to be in time to watch the game, but he's definitely not going to play in that match. So as he goes on to say, he will be wearing the iconic number 14 shirt. A lot of people have been asking which number is he going to be wearing. Is he going to take the number 9 out from Jesus? Arsenal are never going to do that. I see United and Chelsea, they usually do that a lot, taking numbers from players. I don't think Arsenal have ever been a club to do that, like taking a number from a player and then giving it to someone else, especially if the player is currently injured. I don't think Arsenal will do that. Arsenal are never going to do that. So it was either he was going to get the number 14 or 17 available, something, because he used to be wearing number 17 in his previous teams. That was one of it. But he's going to be wearing the iconic number 14 shirt, Viktor Gyokeres. That is the number that he has chosen. The Thierry Henry number, the Aubameyang number, all that. That is the number he's going to be wearing. And I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait for him to put on this shirt. I cannot wait for him to start scoring goals for us. Now, for the number 14 shirt, Thierry Henry scored a bunch of goals at Arsenal. Very, very many goals at Arsenal. Aubameyang scored a lot of goals at Arsenal. Both of them won Arsenal trophies. Now, Theo Walcott himself, the number 14 for us, Theo Walcott scored more than 100 goals for Arsenal. So he scored a lot of goals. And I know people, whenever they mention Thierry Henry and Aubameyang, they choose not to mention Walcott and Ketia. Now, personally, for me, Walcott played for Arsenal for many years, and he scored a lot of goals, and Walcott scored a lot of big goals for Arsenal. He was always scoring against Chelsea, against Man United and all that. So he did do the number justice a little bit, not as much as Aubameyang, but he did do justice a little bit. Now, Viktor Gyokeres is the guy that we want to come and win us the Premier League title. We want him to come and win us the other trophies as well. And he's chosen the number 14 shirt. He does have pressure. He could easily have said, listen, let me get a different number, not really the number 14. Give me the 18, get me the 33 or something. Get me the 35. Let me make it iconic for myself over here. But no, he said, give me the number 14. And that is the number that he wants. And I think I've had somewhere, I think I also have 13 Premier League titles, or not Premier League titles, 13 league titles in total. Imagine if he's the one to come and win us the 14th title. That will also be iconic. So that's the number he's chosen. If we go through the article that David Ornstein wrote, this is what he's had to say. Arsenal have reached a full agreement with Sporting for the transfer of Viktor Gyokeres. The Premier League side will pay an initial £54.8 million plus 10 million euros in add-ons. He goes on to say Gyokeres has been given permission to travel by Sporting and is expected to undergo his Arsenal medical on Saturday. The 27-year-old will take the number 14 shirt at Arsenal, the number made iconic by the club's record goal scorer Thierry Henry. The Athletic reported on July 22nd that the clubs had agreed a deal in principle, but issues remained over the nature of the potential add-ons. Those concerns have now been ironed out. It goes on to say Gyokeres was focused only on joining Arsenal, and despite late interest from elsewhere, he did not consider joining another club. The Swedes agent also waived his commission to help the switch while he is set to sign a 5-year contract. People briefed on the figures say 5 million euros of the add-ons will trigger a set number of appearances, while there are further payments tied to the players' goal involvements and the team qualifying for the Champions League. So we'll go through the add-ons later on, because at the beginning, we were told that Sporting wanted particular add-ons. They wanted, an extra 2.5 million after 20 appearances, an extra 2.5 million after another 20 appearances, an extra 2.5 million if Arsenal qualify for the Champions League, and an extra 2.5 million euros next season if he plays another 20 games next season. So all of those are basically guaranteed. You expect Arsenal to qualify for the Champions League. You expect him to play at least 20 games each of the season. So that is basically guaranteed. But Arsenal are not happy with those add-ons, so we continue discussing it for a further 10 days up until Sporting actually agreed to change it. So I was interested to know whether it was Arsenal who decided to just pay, or was it them, Sporting, who decided to change the add-on. So but actually negotiated, and they actually changed the add-ons. So they changed some of the add-ons from games to goals. So yeah, I guess the negotiations for the extra week helped. Goes on to say in Singapore's National Stadium on Friday, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta would not confirm the signing of Gyokeres is imminent. Yeah, Arteta was asked, and he never talks about any other players up until they sign for Arsenal. I think immediately it's better so they can start to join the team, get to know each other, and get the ideas you want to put in their minds. That is what Arteta had to say. Gyokeres has been one of Europe's most in-demand strikers this summer after scoring 54 goals in 52 matches. I still can't believe you're getting a striker who scored 54 goals in 52 matches. And on top of that, he had close to 15 assists as well. Also, were without recognized number 9 for much of the 24-25 season with injuries to Havertz and Jesus as they finished second in the Premier League for a third consecutive campaign. 10 points behind, whatever, we know. After leaving Brighton for around 1 million to Coventry in 2021, Gyokeres emerged as a key figure for the Championship side before his 17 million move to Sporting in 2023. They bought him for 17 million, so they're actually making a very quick profit just in a couple of years. They're making a profit of more than 40 million pounds, actually, so that is good for them. He recorded 97 goals and 28 assists for the Portuguese club, helping them to consecutive league titles and the Taça de Portugal last season. So it's going to be wearing the iconic number 14. How do you guys feel about that? Did you want him to get the number 9, take it off Jesus, or did you want him to get a different number from the Thierry Henry one? The number 10 doesn't really suit him. I would prefer Eze to get that number, but it was either the number 9 or the number 14, or getting a totally different number. But we've given him the number 14. That's the one that he will be wearing, as confirmed by David Dunstein. So let's see how he's going to fit in that number. The last number 14 that we had in Kepa, that was a mistake. Giving Kepa the number 14, that was a mistake. That was too much pressure, and I think we just did it because of how he ended that season and because of the new contract. Yeah, that was not a correct decision at that point. For Theo Walcott was given his blessing straight from Thierry Henry to get the number 14 shirt. So that was very different. And for Aubameyang, we know that he was a goal machine. Now, this is what Fabrizio's had to say. Viktor Gyokeres has just received written authorization from Sporting to undergo medical at Arsenal. Medical will take place tomorrow. On Saturday, with Swedish striker expected in London today. The saga is over. Now, the saga is just over right now, because even yesterday we were expecting his medical to be done today. Fabrizio himself said the medical will be done today, but yeah, there was again another delay for an extra day because they were waiting for the written authorization from Sporting. You can't just go and do the medical. So that is according to Fabrizio. According to Hand of Arsenal, bro, I absolutely love Gyokeres. Can you read that? Viktor Gyokeres and his family were in tears today when Andrea Bata congratulated them on the striker's move to Arsenal being complete. This guy is not just Gyokeres himself. People were crying that they're joining Arsenal. This guy is already an Arsenal legend, Look at him. He's probably one of those guys that were crying, Viktor Gyokeres, giving up his own money, leaving his spouse behind, moving out of his house 3 weeks before. Like, everything that Gyokeres has done for us, I will never forget it. And I still can't believe there's people who were saying yesterday, forget about Gyokeres, go for Isaac. Nah, you don't do that. I'm not sure Isaac wants to join Arsenal as much as Gyokeres wants to join Arsenal. There's that as well. So you have to consider that. You have to go for the player who wants to join you. If Isaac wants to join Arsenal, that is fine. But you cannot go and start another negotiation when the player prefers to go to Liverpool. And no need. We have our striker. We wanted a striker. We have the striker who scored the most goals over the last 2 years. Go for Gyokeres. I'm very happy with that. So he was in tears apparently. Reminds me of the Nørgaard one. Nørgaard was very happy joining Arsenal, man. Like, if you see Nørgaard's behind the scenes and all that, he was in tears. He was so happy seeing his kid wearing an Arsenal shirt. That is great. I'm happy that we have a lot of players who've asked to join Arsenal, players like Mosquera as well. I cannot wait for them to get started in an Arsenal shirt. So that is according to Hand of Arsenal. Now, the breakdown of the add-ons. Ben Jacob says, Amon Viktor Gyokeres moved to Arsenal. Package is 63.5 million euros fixed and 10 million in add-ons as revealed earlier this month. Understand the breakdown of the add-ons are every 20 games that he plays 45 minutes plus, they get 1.25 million up to a limit of 5 million euros. So that is tough to understand. They've added another sentence there. Every 20 games, 45 million plus, okay? 45 minutes plus. Every time he plays 45 minutes plus, in every 20 games, they get 1.25 million. So I'm guessing up to 20 games, 1.25 million, 20 games, 1.25, another 20 games, 1.25, up until it gets to 5 million years, okay? And then every 20 goal contributions, they get 500K up to a limit of 1 million. So if I'm understanding right, hopefully my mathematics and understanding of this breakdown is correct. If he plays 20 games, more than 45 minutes plus, so he plays a total of 80 games, they're going to get 5 million. If he scores 20 goals twice, so this season and the next time he scores 20 goals, so if he scores 40 goals this season, they get 1 million. If he scores 38 and scores 2 goals next season, they still get that 1 million. So it depends on when he's going to get to 40 goals. I'm guessing that is what is going to happen with that one. And then every seasonal qualification for the Champions League phase 1 million up to a limit of 4 million euros. Man, that is so tough to understand. If I'm understanding correct, that is how I'm understanding it. But hey, they're probably going to get the add-ons for the Champions League anyway. And they're going to, so 10 million in add-ons in total. So 5, 6, okay. So 5 million is going to be in terms of games, 1 million is going to be in terms of goal contributions, and 4 million is going to be in terms of qualifying for the Champions League. So when they say up to a limit of 4 million euros, does it mean if we qualify for the Champions League 4 times in a row, that's when they're going to get that 4 million? Or if you just qualify for the Champions League this and they're going to get that 4 million? That is going to be interesting. That is how I'm understanding it. So if we qualify for the Champions League for the next 4 seasons, they get that 4 million. So 1 million, 1 million, 1 million every season as long as we qualify for the Champions League. And then at the time is going to get 20 goals, 500K. If it gets to 40 goals, they get 1 million. That is how I'm understanding it. But yeah, it's very, very complicated. You can see why it takes a lot of time to negotiate all of this. But hey, they're going to probably get the money because we are hoping that he's going to get all of those goals. And those games is probably going to play and you're probably going to qualify for the Champions League. So that is the breakdown. So that shows you that we never actually paid what they wanted, Sporting. Sporting wanted us to just pay in terms of games and the Champions League, but Arsenal added goal contribution so that it feels worth it, you know? If he does score those 40 goals, we are paying that 1 million very happy because he scored those 40 goals. That will be very worth it. So that is the breakdown. And someone asked Ben Jacobs today because he said yesterday that he's going to do his medical today. Ben Jacobs said the first part will be done tonight. So the first part of the medical will be done tonight and the second one tomorrow. And that is fine. I think that is what happened with Zubimendi as well. He did one at night and then the next one the next morning. So let's see how it goes. Gyokeres will be an Arsenal player. He'll not play against Newcastle. I doubt that. I mean, the medical hasn't even happened. Today is Friday, so he's not going to play against Newcastle, but he will play against Tottenham. That will be his debut. That will be very interesting. Let's see. But this guy is crying. His family is crying because he's joining Arsenal. Mosquera, I saw Mosquera's family crying. I think his dad was crying as well. I'm so happy to see this player. There's nothing that beats a player who wants to join Arsenal. A player who fights to join Arsenal. I absolutely love them, and all three of them have done it. Him, Mosquera, and who am I forgetting? Nørgaard as well was crying when he joined Arsenal. So that is absolutely perfect. That is what we want to see. Absolutely love players like that. Now, Anthony Gordon, we're going to play against him on Sunday against Newcastle when we play against Newcastle. So Ghana Blog said this a couple of days ago. Arsenal have interest in Real Madrid's Rodrygo and Newcastle's Anthony Gordon. I personally still don't believe the Rodrygo one will happen unless we sell players and then shockingly we go for him in August or something. But even if the Rodrygo had a chance to happen, it's not going to happen now. That is like kind of the deadline days kind of signing. But I don't believe Rodrygo really wants to leave Real Madrid. But Ghana Blog mentioned him a couple of days ago again. And Newcastle's Anthony Gordon. However, the future of Gabriel, Martinelli, and Leandro Trossard will determine if that admiration and interest goes further. So when we talked about Gordon yesterday, he said, I don't think Gordon is like on the level of, he's been very good for Newcastle in the league. But, the way we talk about Rodrygo, if Rodrygo joins Arsenal, we know he definitely starts on that left side. If Nico Williams joined Arsenal, he would start on that left side. If even Lookman's joined Arsenal, he would play on that left side. If Leao joined Arsenal, he would start on that left side. For Anthony Gordon, I'm not sure it's as straightforward as that. I don't think, like, if you sign Gordon today, he definitely starts tomorrow on the left wing ahead of Trossard and Martinelli. I don't think it's that obvious. Or he starts like 10 games in a row and then Martinelli and Trossard sit on the bench. I don't think it's that obvious. He would be like a rotation option. He might play more games than the others, but he'd be a rotation option. And would it be worth it to go and pay 60 million, 70 million for Gordon? I don't know, man. And the fact that they're selling Isaac, are they also going to sell Anthony Gordon? That's the other thing as well. So would you guys be keen if I'm telling you we are going to sell Trossard to get Anthony Gordon? Would you be happy with that? We are selling Martinelli to get Anthony Gordon. Would you be happy with that? Let me know in the chat. So that is what Ghana Block said a couple of days ago. And then yesterday, Court Offside said that Arsenal's focus has shifted towards Newcastle's Anthony Gordon after accepting defeat in Alexander Isak race. Yeah, we're not going to get Isaac. Personally, for me, I prefer getting a wing and a number and Eze anyway. That is who I'd prefer. I don't think it would make sense to go and spend 150 million on Isaac when we don't have a winger, we don't have enough creativity in the midfield. And the fact that someone commented and said, why did he wait for Arsenal to sign a striker first? No, it looks, why didn't he? We've wanted Isaac for 3 years. Why hasn't he ever said that he wants to leave? I don't understand why he's done it right now. So to me, that looks like he prefers to join Liverpool than Arsenal. So there is that as well. As I said yesterday again in that video for Isaac, just do your job. Get your players, win your games. Liverpool will buy players, forget about them. Focus on your games. Liverpool have bought Ekitike and they're going to buy Isaac. That is fine. That doesn't mean that we're not going to beat Everton or Fulham at home. Just win your games. Those games that usually bring us trouble. Get the striker, get Eze, win your games. And then when you face Liverpool in the 2 games, we're going to see how we're going to maneuver those games. They're probably going to win more games. Win your games as well. That is all that matters. Sort out your problems. Get the striker, get the attacking midfielder, get the winger, all the players that you've bought, get them focused and get them into the team and forget about what Man City are doing because, Man City are buying Shaki and buying Reinders. We're not also going to buy those players, and I don't expect us to buy those players. Just buy the players that you need. If Man City go for Watkins today, doesn't mean that we also have to go for Watkins today because Man City are going to go for him. I would have loved Isaac, but last season my option was Gyokeres. Anyway, I want to put a poll in the chat and ask you that question for Anthony Gordon, guys, who you would go for if you paid to get Gordon and leave and Trossard leaves. So let me just put a poll very, very quickly. And Gordon would cost around 60, 70 million probably. He will play against us tomorrow or Sunday, sorry. And since they don't have a striker, I don't know if he's the one that is going to play as a striker. I think so. So would you be happy with Gordon in, Martinelli out? Let me know if you prefer Gordon in, Martinelli out, or Gordon in, Trossard out, or you prefer none of them. None of the options. Okay, so for the 185 of you watching on YouTube, let me know. There's a poll there. Would you be happy with Gordon in, Martinelli out, or would you be happy with Gordon in, Trossard out, or you're not really looking at any of those options? You just prefer keeping both of them? You don't really rate Gordon that highly? Let me know. Now let's go to the next piece of news, and that is on Reiss Nelson. McGrath Mike says Marco Silva is looking to bring Reiss Nelson back to Fulham this summer, although he'll also look at further wide options with Raheem Sterling on the shortlist. They want Raheem Sterling at Fulham. Don't they have already Willian? They have Willian at Fulham as well. That would be interesting. Sterling and Willian in the same team. Those have been like 2 worst transfers over the last 5 years. And they're going to have a lot of Arsenal players there, Fulham, if they're adding Sterling as well. But that's none of my business. If we can sell Reiss Nelson, if we can get good money for him, surprisingly, he was one of our best players against AC Milan. But we cannot get more than, we always struggle to get even more than 10 million for such kind of players. I don't know why. 1 year remaining on his contract, can we get 15 to 20 million pounds for him, at least money that we can use elsewhere? I'm hoping that we can, man. I'm really hoping that we can. But the way we sell our players, it's never really that great. But let's see if it's going to be a loan deal. I'm not really with the loan deal. It's either just sell him, man. Just get the money and use it else. So that is how I'm looking at it. Or use him in a swap deal to get Eze to Arsenal. That is how I'm looking at it as well. Let's see. Next up, There's more updates on Xavi Simons. I don't expect us to get Xavi Simons anyway. I think we're going to go for Eze. Chelsea are mindful that both Bayern Munich and Arsenal have also shown interest in Xavi Simons. However, there is confidence they already have the approval of the player after presenting their project. So, yeah, that is according to Ryan Taylor Sport. I do have a feeling Xavi Simons is going to join Chelsea. For us, we are more focused on Eze, so that's the one we are looking at. Yesterday, we were told Eze has already told his friends that he's going to join Arsenal, kind of what Gyokeres did 2 months ago. So let's see. Let's hope it turns out to be that. Let's hope we do end up getting Eze. Xavi Simons can go to Chelsea, no problem. He would have been a good backup to Xavi Simons in terms of an option, but whatever happens, I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's get Eze. That's the player that I want. If you have more budget, you can go for other wingers if they're available. That would be fine. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm watching you live from Liberia. Says Mohammed. Next is Avan says, I'm watching you from Kapchore. I don't know where that is, but thank you for watching. Mubarak says, Mr. Glenn, big up stuff. Well, Gyokeres as well than jersey number 14. Yes, he deserves it. Yeah, I like his confidence as well. He's come and said, I want to play for Arsenal. He said, I'm not going to any other team. I'm going to come and play for Arsenal. I'm going to be the striker for Arsenal. He's rejected every other team. He's paid his own money. He said, now I want the number 14 shirt as well. I'm going to score goals. I'm going to be the difference maker at Arsenal. He's done all of that. This is a player who's very high on confidence, and those are the kind of players you want. We usually sign a lot of players who, are low on confidence. You're trying to motivate them and trying to boost them, trying to see how they do. Now, we don't have time for that, man. We do not have time for that right now. But the way we've been moving this transfer window, we could easily have pushed for Cesc, could easily have pushed for a younger goalkeeper or something. But the fact that we went for Andrea Bata at the start and did not give Jason Naito, the guy who was caretaker to Edu, the job. We went for a more experienced person. And then we decided to go for Gyokeres instead of paying the money for Sesko. And then we've also gone for, instead of going for a younger goalkeeper, we decided to go for an experienced Kepa as well. And then instead of going for a younger midfielder, we also went for a 30-year-old Nørgaard too. Also Zubimendi as well is very experienced. The fact that we went for all of these players, it shows me that they definitely want to win now. They're not really looking. They are building for the future as well, with signing players like Mosquera, yes, and signing players like there's a couple of other young players that we've signed. I think one of them is from Salford. We are signing young players as well, but the fact that we brought in an experienced director, we are bringing in experienced players, 27 years and above, not bringing youngsters. And also, let's not forget, we also brought in Gabriel Heinze, the assistant manager. So we are bringing a lot of experienced people. That shows that they actually want to win right now. They know that this is the best chance that we have right now. We should really have won the league title probably twice in 23 and 24, especially the 23-24 one. We should really have won the league that year, even the previous one before that with the black kit. We should have won it. So we could easily have had 2 Premier League titles right now. So this is a win now scenario. Saliba is at his best. Gabriel is at his best. Reiss is at his best. Saka is at his best. All those players, bring more players, add to that, bring experienced players. Gyokeres has been at his best. Zubimendi is a winner. He's been at his best. Bring all of those guys and let's get started. That is what we want. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Ike, how are you doing as well? Thank you for always watching. The Global TV says, I'm here already. Thank you. Please subscribe and smash the like button. I appreciate it. Clarence says, good news. Cookie says, finally, we are getting our man, and I would like him to wear the shirt number 9. He's going to wear the number 14. That has already been confirmed by David Ornstein. He was never going to get the number 9. Arsenal I've never seen Arsenal ripping away Arsenal have never really been that team. Arsenal usually call themselves a classy team, so they're not going to go to an injured Jesus and tell him, you know what, you're injured, but you don't give us that number 9 shirt. You're going to give it to another player. It's not going to happen, especially if, in fact, the fact that also Arteta is close to Jesus. They are together from the Man City days. It's just not going to happen that way. So it was either going to be number 14 or a different one. Now, when Jesus leaves, is he going to change it from the number 14 to 9? Probably not. I think he still want to stick with that number 14 because Thierry Henry White. On and on we go, says Clarence. Let's see. We're lucky to have him, very lucky, man. I cannot wait for him to get started. Nelly. And tomorrow, Saturday, for medical in London, then play Asia to join teammates. He's not going to play in Singapore, he's going to play in Hong Kong. So I don't know if he's just going to fly directly to Hong Kong or to Singapore to watch the game on Sunday. Let's see. Bianca says already loving him, guys. Can't wait to see him demolish United. Just imagine 2 good goals from this guy in the derby against Man United, man, because they really wanted him and the coach is there. I would love it. We rarely win at Old Trafford as well. I think it's like ever since I started supporting Arsenal, I've seen us win at Old Trafford in the league 3 times only. The Trossard goal, the Aubameyang goal, and the Adebayo goal. That is 2006. That's a long time ago. And a couple of FA Cup ones as well. I remember a while back scoring. But we never win at Old Trafford that much. So it would be so good to see Gyokeres scoring there. Joel says, thanks for updating us and having strong love for the team and fans at large. My prayers on Eze now. That is the next one. Let's hope we can get it finalized very soon. Joseph says, watching live from Kenya. Charles says, to be honest, Gordon was available at cheap at Everton, so why find Newcastle? Let's throw another player, but Gordon. Gordon is a good player. I'm not saying he's a good player, but 60, 70 million, probably not. I would not be going for that one. What if Arsenal are going to sell Martinelli? Let's get Rodrygo, Rafael instead of Gordon, says Mosquera. The thing with Rodrygo, I don't think Rodrygo has really like confirmed that much that he really wants to leave Real Madrid. So I think as of now, it's like the Nico Williams one. For the Nico Williams one, we wasted 2 years with Nico Williams because it doesn't seem like Nico Williams wanted to leave Spain at all. We wasted a lot of time with that one. So what I don't want is for Arsenal to waste time on players and then eventually Rodrygo says, you know what, I want to stay at Real Madrid anyway. Martinelli must go because he's not improving anymore, says Sambo. How much though? How much money are you going to ask for Martinelli? Martin says, what is your say if we go for both Eze and Rafa Leao vs Milan from Uganda? We are going to need to sell players, either Martinelli or Trossard. Eze, we definitely need to get next without even selling players. Eze should be there because we've been told we have enough budget. For Leao, we'd have to sell one of the players, and Trossard is going to cost like 25 million. Leao is going to cost like 60. If you get Leao, you're going to have to sell Martinelli. That is just the case. That is how it's going to be. So for me, I'm going to get Eze first. I do not want to sell Martinelli, so I'm going to. I can still go for a different winger. They still are the wingers you can get for 30 million and stuff, and then we're good to go. But make sure you get Eze. Gordon is not better than both, says Chalalo. Gordon is not better than both Martinelli and Trossard. We want wow players. Gordon is a wow player. Gordon is Madueke. I don't agree with that personally. Gordon is a very good player. I mean, how many goals has he scored against us? I'm sure he scored like 3 times against us and they've beaten us in all of those games. Now, the last 3 seasons, Gordon has been better than Trossard and Martinelli. That is just the truth. In terms of numbers, goals, assists, taking on players is better than what we have. But I wouldn't pay 60 or 70 million. I wouldn't sell Martinelli to bring Gordon. That I wouldn't do. What about Jesus? Jesus is injured, so he's not going anywhere. That's great news, says Dauda. Let's see. How are you, Lamin? He says, good evening. I like your program so much. Always on your program. I love Arsenal. Thank you for watching. So far for the votes, 40% have said Gordon in, Trossard out. And then 35% have said none of the options. 25% have said Gordon in, Martinelli out. As is a better option, says Danish. Gordon and Martinelli to compete for the left wing, my opinion. Competition, not bad. In terms of competition, I wouldn't mind that, but you'd have to sell Trossard. I don't know, man. I've been thinking, again, as I've told you guys, I'm not really waking up thinking we have to sell Trossard and Martinelli. The other day, Trossard was better than Martinelli against AC Milan. And 2 seasons ago, Trossard had 17 goals for us, and he was scoring all the big goals for us. Now, I know last season was not great, but if you combine Trossard's time at Arsenal and you give it a rating, it's like a 7 out of 10. Because he came to Arsenal, and within 4 months, he had like more than 10 assists. And then the next season, he had 17 goal contributions, scoring big goals against FC Porto, against Bayern Munich. He was doing a lot of work. And then last season was not great. So unless you're paying good money for Trossard, I'd be very happy to keep him, to be honest, on the bench, to be coming off the bench, because I don't want to be in a situation where we are selling Trossard and not buying anyone. That will be even worse, because last season we did that. We let go of Nketiah, Smith-Rowe, Nelson, all these guys. We never brought anyone. So that is what I don't want to happen. So I don't think Trossard is useless, and I don't think Martinelli is useless off the bench. I don't want them to start. I don't mind them off the bench. The most important position to upgrade now is the left wing. We can't rely on Martinelli and Trossard. Yeah, relying is different. I don't want us to rely on them. I don't mind them as options off the bench, but yeah, relying is a different case. I don't want us to rely on Havertz up front. I don't want us to rely on Martinelli on the left side. I want us to have different players in those positions. Remy says Gordon is not an upgrade to both Martinelli and Trossard. Let's see. Nice one. 14 is very okay with him. He deserves it. I can't wait to see him in the Emirates Stadium. Says Musa, I cannot wait for his debut against Tottenham. And I have a feeling he's going to score as well. I cannot wait. Gyokeres is paid 50-60 million to go in Big Six kitchen to cook. Says Aman. After Gyokeres, let's get Eze and give him the number 10. Then we're good to go. DJ Kato says Kato from Uganda, let Martinelli go, then we bring Eze and any other winger, but not Gordon, and Jesus is better than Kai Havertz. That's another interesting point as well. For a striker, I think Jesus is also better than Havertz, as you've said. Jesus had, in his first season, he had very good games. And in his second season, when we went back in the Champions League for the first time, Jesus was our best player that Champions League season where we lost to Bayern Munich. Jesus was very good against Sevilla, very good against Bayern Munich. He was our best player. The injuries are a problem, though. And you can't depend on Jesus to score goals for you. That is the truth. But if I was to ask you guys, if we couldn't buy a backup, who would you prefer as a backup for Gyokeres? Would you prefer Jesus or Havertz as a backup for Gyokeres? I dream of Gyokeres scoring 2 against Man United and all Arsenal fans in the stadium doing the mask celebration. Oof, I cannot wait. Hassan of Gyokeres, can't wait. Can't wait. Up the Gunners. Watching live from Winnipeg, Canada, says Amuta. Thank you. That's a cold profile picture as well. Wilkan says we need to sign one attacking midfielder to help Martin. I think we're going to use Noni a lot in that position, and also if you sign Eze can also play in that position. So it will give us a lot of different options if you sign Eze. Let's see. Any update on Eze? Not today. The last one we had was last night that Arsenal, Fabrizio told us that Arsenal wants an attacking midfielder, and Eze is the one that we are looking at. So let's try and finalize the one for Gyokeres first, and then we can go for Eze. Samuel says you can sell Martinelli and keep Trossard. It will be, you can sell Martinelli and keep Trossard. It will be a big mistake. Do you mean you can't sell Martinelli and keep Trossard? I don't think Arsenal would want to sell Martinelli and keep Trossard. That I agree. I don't think Arsenal would want to do that because of the age as well. They would probably see Martinelli as having an opportunity to improve because he's still very young. That's why I'm like, if we are not problem with we don't have problems with money, just keep both of them. And I saw someone again today commenting that why do we want all of these players? Where are they all going to play? Oh, believe me, they're going to play. Did you see last season? Last season in the Champions League against Real Madrid and PSG, those guys were bringing on Gonzalo Ramos, bringing on Bacola from the bench. They're bringing on Ley from the bench. Real Madrid were bringing on Brahim Diaz from the bench, Adegula from the bench, all of those guys from the bench. When Trossard and Martinelli were tired, we were bringing on Tierney as a left winger. Tierney as a left winger. You looked at our bench, you saw Tierney, Batloye, Deji, 2 goalkeepers, and then you see, like, our bench was just terrible. Let's be honest. Last season, our bench was very, very bad. Even in the previous seasons where we were competing for the league, I looked at our bench, and we had players like Lokonga there, and we had players like who else? I saw a bench when we played against. I watched our game against Newcastle 2020-23 when we beat them. I don't know, it was 0-0 or something. We didn't have anyone to bring on basically over the last 3 seasons. We would need enough players. I want us to have, when even a player or 2 get injured, we're not stranded. Because if you sell Trossard and Martinelli and then Eze comes and gets injured, and then what is next again? We're going to have to start playing Calafiori at left wing again. No, I don't want that again. I want us to win the Carabao Cup. I want us to go as far as we can in the FA Cup, go as far as we can in the Champions League. I want us to win the Premier League as well. So I want us to compete for all 4. I want us to have all of these players in the club, especially if money is not a problem. If we need to sell to buy Eze, then then we can talk about selling Zinchenko, and if you need to buy Eze and you need to sell Trossard, and you're getting good money, we can talk. But if you don't need to sell players and you can bring Eze without selling players, and there's other players we can sell. Lokonga is still at Arsenal, Vieira is still at Arsenal, Nelson is still at Arsenal. You can Karl Hein is still at Arsenal. You can sell all of those other players, and then they can get Eze through the door. And the winger, you don't have to get an 80 million pound winger. There's other wingers. I mean, Bakayoko has just gone for like 25 million or something. Adingra from Brighton has just gone for like 20-something million as well. There's other wingers that you can get to, provide competition as well. Finally, Gyökeres is on his way to London, says Shelley. In terms of decision-making, Kai is better than Jesus. Decision-making... I don't know, man. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think any of them stands out in terms of that. In terms of in and around the box, I would prefer Jesus. He's very skillful, and the goals that he scored and all that, you can tell from his goals and all that. And Kai is not a striker anyway, so we are asking Kai to do something that he's not even really been doing since I started playing football. Samuel says I wanted to keep Martinelli and sell Trossard. For how much? We should not be carried away with Liverpool signing. We have more stable team than Liverpool. Our first team are still intact. We only add missing quality of gunners. So personally, for me, I definitely don't look at what Liverpool is doing. You have to keep an eye. Obviously, you're not just not going to sign players and then you look at Liverpool signing Vats and Isaac and all that. I mean, they have better forwards than us. Until now, we get players like Gyökeres and Eze. I do think we have a better goalkeeper. I do think we have a better defense. But in terms of going forward, those teams are better than us. You cannot compare. Salah himself alone is just better than everything that we have. We don't have anyone who can chip in 30, 40 goals in a season. But if you get Gyökeres and you add Eze and all those guys, the position that you need, then you can compete with those guys. And in terms of playing them, we don't lose games to Liverpool or Man City. We just need to beat the other teams that we don't beat. Those games, I always mention them every time. Fulham at home, West Ham at home, Aston Villa at home, those games that we never win. Everton at home, we need to win those games. Let's get Eze and close case, start positioning the corner. The comments, says Nathan. Havertz for backup, says Tony. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be starting more or coming on more, Merino or Havertz. Jesus is more better than Kai. Havertz 100% in everything. In everything, I wouldn't really say in everything. In terms like things like headers, Havertz is better. In terms of coming back and defending and making tackles and doing all that, Havertz is better than Jesus. But Jesus is also good in terms of coming back and collecting the ball. And also, Havertz is better in terms of staying fit. He only has one injury recently. Jesus picks up a lot of injury, and people usually say availability is the best ability. So yeah, that is very important too. So yeah, I would love, let's see. When Jesus comes back, he's not going to be sold. So if Jesus comes back in like December and then for the next 5 months, he can help us, with a few good games here and there, I'd be very happy. If there's a possibility of signing both Eze and Rodrygo, is there a possibility? Personally, I don't think so. You'd have to sell both Martinelli and Trossard for that to happen. Why can we offload Martinelli, Jesus, and Trossard, and we go for Isaac? Why can't we? Because you cannot break the whole balance of the team for one player. I saw someone saying yesterday, sell Kivio, sell Martinelli, sell Trossard, and sell someone else, and sell Zinchenko for Isaac. I don't think you can do that. You cannot break four positions for one player. And there's a lot of other reasons on top of that, especially not for a player who prefers to join Liverpool than joining you. And we've already gone for Gyökeres. So again, you have Gyökeres who's been fighting to join Arsenal. So what are we going to tell Gyökeres when you sign Isaac? That, we fought to join Arsenal, but we don't care about that. We're actually going to play Isaac instead of you. And if you sign Isaac, that means you're playing Isaac as a winger. Now, that is different. If you're asking for wingers, then I would rather have players like Eze on that left wing. And I'm not going to go for Isaac before we get Eze and before we get a winger as well. So there's that. You cannot disrupt the whole balance of the team to get one player. I don't personally agree with that. Now, if you can sell Lokonga, sell Vieira, sell Nelson, if you could sell Jesus, it's not possible as well. He's injured anyway, so Jesus is not going to go anywhere. There's no one who's going to buy him with an injury. Then we can talk about that. But it's 150 million as well, Chol. 150 million can get you Rodrygo and Eze. So yeah, I'd rather do that than getting just one player. Anyway. Please don't sell Martinelli, says Samuel. Gordon, no, we need Eze, says Kelly. Let's see. What's the situation of Zini? it's gone quiet. I don't think Zinchenko wants to leave Arsenal, but I think for this one we'll have to wait like all the way to August. No team has really made a bid for him. You were told some teams wanted to pay like 10 million for him. Not worth it. Again, Chelsea have like 40 players. How many players do we have? Can I count off head? Now, 2 goalkeepers, and then Setford is going to back them up. And then defensively, we have 9. I think we have 9 defenders. So plus the goalkeepers, that's 11. And then if you add Nørgaard, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Reiss, Merino, that would be like close to 25 players. And then plus the youngsters, like I have not counted Noni there and Dauman and all that. So I want us to have like 24 players plus Lewis Kelly, Nwaneri, Dauman, and Nicole. So have enough players. Chelsea have like 40 players in that team. They can have a different team plus substitutions, a different team plus substitutions in 2 different games. We don't have that. And we saw with the injuries last season, you know. Again, for Zinchenko, if we can use that money to buy someone, if we need that money to buy someone, go ahead and do it. But I'm not, again, waking up in the morning and screaming for Zinchenko to leave, especially if you're not getting good money for him. Let's wait until we get good money for him. He's not starting games. We know he's not a good defender. We know all that. If he can play in a few games in midfield, why not? He's a good technical player. We wait and see. If someone comes with a good offer for Zinchenko, then we can sell him. But as of now, there's no one that has really been talking about Zinchenko. Good evening to you, Sambo. Let's see. Do you see Calafiori partnering Saliba at the start of the season? I think Kivia will start. I think Gabriel might make it, Silva. I think Gabriel was in training today. So I think eventually Gabriel will make the first game. So if he was not there, I think he would go with Kivio, because Calafiori is also an option for left-back position. But I don't mind any of them. Calafiori is a centre-back from back in the days, so I don't mind it. I think we have so many good defenders. How is Timber and Gabriel faring with injuries? Timber is not back in training. Gabriel was training today. I wouldn't play Gabriel against Newcastle anyway. So the preview for that one is coming already. Tell us about... I talked about as already Kato. I really love Zini in the midfield. I mean, if you can be used in midfield, no problem. We have a lot of midfield options now with Reiss, Zubimendi, Merino, Nørgaard, and the 10 with Odegaard and Nwaneri, and Lewis Kelly can play there. And if you bring Eze, can also play there. I mean, I don't mind having a lot of options. That's the point. I don't want us to get to December and then we have 3 injuries and 1 suspension and you don't have anyone to play. That is what I'm trying to avoid next time. So, yeah. In terms of the poll, the results are 40% have said none of the options. So most people don't want Gordon and then replace them with Trossard, or replace Trossard and Martinelli with Gordon. But if you're going to replace someone, 31% have said replace Trossard with Gordon, 29% have said replace Martinelli with Gordon. So I appreciate you guys watching as always. The match preview for Arsenal Newcastle is coming up. I'll catch up with you on the